Think about our culture. How does our culture think about sex? You think about it, I'd say that our culture both at the same time undervalues sex and overvalues sex. We undervalue sex in that our culture has made sex a commodity. It's a product that you buy and that you sell. It is a marketing scheme that you can apply to any product to be more effective in selling that product. Yeah, I mean, you can't even sell term life insurance today, without a lady in a bikini looking all sexy trying to sell, grandpa his term life insurance. It's incredible how much sex plays into everything that we advertise and that we sell in this culture. So we undervalue sex in that it's a commodity. There's nothing sacred about it. There's nothing special about it. It's just something that you do. We've brought it down to this animalistic level. There's nothing to separate us from dogs and cats in this area of sexuality. It's undervalued, but it's also overvalued. It's overvalued in that many women in our culture will starve themselves to death. I don't know how many women have eating disorders in our culture, but I did a little bit of study on it, and what I found is that the closer you get to the culture-making factories of our culture, and those would be the high-class universities, the cultural elites, the closer you get to those institutions, the more prevalent eating disorders are among women. We have a culture that says, if I don't look sexy, then I'm not valuable. If I'm not thought of as beautiful and attractive, then I'm not worth anything as a person. And so we've overvalued sex. We've made being sexy such an important thing that women and men are literally destroying their bodies in order to be seen as something significant. So normal in our culture is broke. Normal is sexual brokenness. Normal is adultery. Normal is sexually transmitted diseases. And yet I don't think anybody signed up for normal. I bet if I asked you, how many of you on your wedding day had a date and a time in mind that you said, I'm going to commit adultery on my wife? And nobody, right? If I were to ask you, raise your hand if you plan on committing adultery, no one would raise their hand. And yet, I ran the statistics today, 65% of men, 55% of women will commit adultery before the age of 40. 40 years old, 65% of men, 55% of women. But nobody signs up for it, nobody plans on doing it, and yet it happens. You've got sexually transmitted diseases spreading like wildfire, adultery, sexual brokenness, pornography addictions, guilt, divorce, regret, fear, shame, abuse. That's normal. But just because it's normal doesn't mean that it's right. And just because it's normal doesn't mean that's what we want to engage in. What does it mean for Christians to look different? Could Christians offer people in our culture something different than what the culture's selling? What if it was something positive? What if it was something compelling? You think about Christians, especially